Neri opened her eyes to bright lights. Her head hurt badly. She tried to move her arms and legs, but strong straps held them down. The cold metal table under her felt strange against her skin. As her eyes began to focus, she realized this was not the Mars research station where she had been working. This was somewhere else entirely. "Subject 27 is awake," said a voice. The words sounded odd, like a language she had never heard before. Yet somehow, she could understand every word. 3 tall figures moved toward her. They had blue skin that glowed slightly under the lights. Each had 4 eyes on their faces that blinked at different times. Neri had studied alien life forms for years as a scientist, but she had never seen anything like these beings. "Where am I? Who are you?" Neri asked. Her voice sounded weak and dry. The tallest alien stepped closer. "I am lead researcher Tejo. You are on the Kashik research ship. We chose you to help us study human bodies." Neri tried to remember what had happened. The last thing in her memory was working at her station on Mars. She had noticed something unusual on her scanner. And then, nothing after that. "How long have I been here?" she asked. Another alien answered, "In Earth time. About 47 days. This one had strange markings on its neck that glowed. I am Assistant Researcher Ju." 47 days. Neri felt a wave of despair wash over her. By now, everyone at the Mars station would think she was dead. No one would be looking for her anymore. "You will help us learn how humans adapt to different conditions," Tejo said. "The humans before you did not survive long enough." A cold feeling spread through Neri's body. "What happened to the others?" she asked, though she already guessed the answer from the emotionless look in Tejo's 4 eyes. "They died during our tests," said the third alien simply. "I am Medical Observer Hyun. Humans are strong in some ways, but very weak in others." Neri pulled hard against the straps holding her down. "You can't keep me here. This is wrong. It breaks all the rules between species." The aliens looked at each other. "Rules?" Ju's neck markings flashed brightly. "Your people don't even know we exist. Your governments have never met us. The tests will start tomorrow," Tejo said, turning to leave. "Get the subject ready." When they left, Neri struggled harder against her restraints. Her scientific mind began working quickly. She needed to learn all she could about these aliens, the Kashik as they call themselves. Knowledge was her only hope for survival. If other humans had been here before her, maybe there were clues about how to escape. The room grew dark, but Neri did not sleep. She studied every detail around her, counting the panels on the ceiling and examining the strange symbols on the machines. If she wanted to live, if she wanted to escape, she needed to understand these aliens better than they understood her. One thought kept her going through the long night. She used to study alien life. Now, aliens were studying her, but she would not end up as just another failed experiment. She would survive. Neri quickly learned how the Kashik worked. They loved order and had a strict schedule. Every day followed the same pattern. In the morning, they took samples of her blood and skin. In the afternoon, they made her run, lift, and test how strong she was. At night, they gave her puzzles and memory tests that made her brain tired. On the 6th day, Hyun looked at a floating screen showing Neri's test results. "You heal faster than we expected," he said. "Very interesting." Neri had noticed that when she showed interest in their work, they sometimes treated her better. "What do you mean?" she asked. "The humans before you got weaker after these tests," Hyun explained, touching the screen. "But you are getting stronger." Neri tried not to smile. She had been clever. She saved her energy when she could. She studied their tests to learn their patterns. The Kashik were very smart, but they missed small things about how humans could adapt. Later that day, Tejo announced, "Subject 27 is ready for Phase 2. Phase 2 was testing how Neri's body handled different environments. They put her in special rooms that could be very hot like a desert or very cold like the Arctic. They watched how she breathed when there was less oxygen or more pressure. During one hard test with very little oxygen, Neri noticed something important. Ju seemed worried when Taejo made the oxygen too low. The test must continue, Taejo said sharply when Ju suggested stopping. If we hurt her too much, it will ruin later tests. Ju argued, the markings on his neck flashing quickly. Neri remembered this. The Kaushik did not all think the same way. This could help her later. That night, as Neri lay on her hard bed, the door opened. Ju came in quietly. You are not like the others, Ju said in a low voice. You watch us while we watch you. Neri sat up slowly. I am a scientist too. Watching is what scientists do. The others only showed fear. You show interest. Ju blinked all four eyes one after another. This is why you live when they died. How many humans were here before me? Neri asked. 26, Ju said. Most only lived about 12 days. Neri felt cold inside. What will happen when your tests are finished? Juwoo's neck markings grew dim. I cannot decide that. After Juwoo left, Neri walked around her small room, thinking hard. 26 humans had died here. She would not be number 27. Now she knew something valuable. Juwoo was different from the others. Maybe not exactly friendly, but at least Juwoo saw her as more than just a test animal. Tomorrow, she would ask more questions. Knowledge was still her best hope to stay alive. 3 weeks after the Kaushik took her, Neri noticed something strange. She could understand the alien writing. It started when she watched Taejo push buttons on control panels. Now looking at the glowing symbols on the medical machines, she could read all of them. Injectable compound prepared, said one screen. Genetic modification sequence ready. Neri felt fear run through her body. Genetic modification. That explained why she felt weird lately. Tingles in her hands and feet, and times when lights and sounds seemed too strong. They weren't just testing her, they were changing her. The door opened, and Hyun walked in with a tray of tools. What are you doing to me? Neri asked. I can read your screens now. You're changing my DNA. All four of Hyun's eyes opened wide at once, showing rare surprise. You can understand our writing. Very interesting. The brain changes are working better than we thought. Brain changes. You've been changing my brain. And other parts of you, Hyun said, not seeming worried about her fear. Humans have very flexible brains. We are just speeding up some changes that might have taken millions of years. Neri tried to stay calm and think like a scientist. Why? What are you trying to make? Hyun was quiet for a moment, all four eyes blinking in order. Our world is dying. We need living things that can survive in hard conditions. You're using humans as models for changing living things, Neri said. But why not use your own people? Kaushik bodies cannot change as easily as human bodies, Hyun explained. Your kind grew up on a planet with many different conditions. Ours did not. That night, Neri found another new ability. While trying to reach an itch on her back that she couldn't scratch because of her straps, she felt something odd. The straps seemed to get looser. She focused harder, and amazingly, the material began to respond to her thoughts. She couldn't break it completely, but she could move it enough to get some freedom. Carefully, she practiced, making sure the watching cameras wouldn't notice her small movements. Whatever the Kaushik had done to her brain was changing how she could affect things around her. Later that week, during a thinking test, Neri felt a strange connection to the computer system. When Taejo stepped out of the room, she focused hard on the security information shown on a far screen. To her shock, she could connect to the system with her mind, seeing bits of information, ship maps, research data, message logs. Before Taejo came back, she learned something very important. The Kaushik ship was heading toward Earth. Their mission wasn't just research. It was preparing for something much bigger. And from the pieces of data she saw, the Kaushik did not have peaceful plans. Neri knew she had to escape now, not just to save herself, but maybe to save all humans. Ju came to Neri's room during the night again. This time, the alien was carrying a small tube. "Your changes are happening faster than with the humans before you," Ju said in a quiet voice. Taijo is very happy about this. Neri decided to take a risk. "Ju, I know the ship is going to Earth. What are the Koshik planning to do?" The markings on Juwoo's neck flashed in a pattern showing surprise. "How did you learn this?" "The same way I can do this," Neri whispered. She focused her mind on the strap around her left wrist. The material got softer, letting her pull her hand free for a moment before she put it back. All four of Juwoo's eyes opened wide. "The brain changes have gone further than we expected." "Tell me the truth," Neri said. "What will happen when we reach Earth?" Juwoo was quiet for a moment, then spoke quickly. "The Koshik homeworld is dying from poison in the air after one of our suns exploded. Our leaders have chosen Earth as a good planet to move to." "Move to?" Neri felt sick. "There are billions of humans on Earth. The leaders think humans and Koshik cannot live together. They plan to release a sickness that only kills humans." Juwoo's voice got even quieter. "I am telling you this because I do not agree with this plan. Some of us think we could work together with humans." "Then help me stop them," Neri said. "I cannot fight against the leaders directly," Juwoo replied. "But I can give you this." The alien handed Neri the small tube. "It has tiny machines made for your changed body. They will make your new abilities stronger." Neri took the tube carefully. "Why would you help me?" "Because you have shown us something the leaders refuse to see, that humans are not just test animals or problems. You are smart beings who deserve respect." Juwoo moved toward the door. "I must go before someone notices I am gone." "Wait," Neri said softly. "How much time do we have?" 3 Earth days until we reach your planet," Juwoo answered. "Use the tiny machines tonight. Tomorrow, they will move you to a more secure room as we get close to Earth." After Juwoo left, Neri looked at the tube. Inside was a clear liquid with small, shiny bits floating in it. Taking a deep breath, she pressed it against her arm the way she had seen the Koshik do with their medical tools. The tiny machines went into her blood with a cold feeling that quickly spread through her whole body. That night, as the tiny machines worked with her changed body, Neri practiced her new abilities. She could change simple materials with her mind, connect briefly with computer systems, and understand the Koshik language perfectly. But would it be enough to stop them from killing everyone on Earth? She had 3 days to find out. The tiny machines worked better than Neri had hoped. By morning, her senses were much sharper and her mind clearer. She could feel the small shakes of the ship's engines and sense the electric fields made by the technology around her. Most importantly, she could now fully connect with the Koshik computer systems without touching them. When Taijo and Hyun came to move her to the more secure room, Neri was ready. As they took the straps off the table, she focused hard on the ship's air systems. With a push from her mind, she lowered the oxygen in the room by 15%. Enough to make the Koshik slow down, but not hurt them badly. Taijo noticed first, starting to breathe harder. "Something is wrong with the air controls," he said with effort. As the 2 aliens moved toward the control panel, Neri made her move. She ran past them to the door, using her mental connection to the ship to unlock it. The door slid open, and she was in the hallway. Alarms started ringing right away. Red lights flashed along the walls. Neri ran, using her new knowledge of the ship's layout, to find her way to the research labs. She needed to find proof of the sickness they planned to use against Earth. 2 Koshik security guards came around the corner ahead. Neri didn't slow down. Instead, she focused on the light panels above them and overloaded the circuits. The panels exploded with sparks, temporarily blinding the guards. She slipped past them in the confusion. The doors to the research lab had strong locks, but Neri's enhanced abilities let her sense the electronic lock's patterns. She concentrated, matching her thoughts to the frequency of the security system. After several tense seconds, the doors slid open. Inside, she quickly found storage units with biological samples. Using a nearby computer, she accessed the research data. What she found horrified her. The sickness was made to target human DNA specifically, causing cells to break down quickly. Their tests showed it would kill 99.8% of Earth's human population within weeks. Nari downloaded the research data to a portable device she found in the lab. She also took samples of the sickness, and most importantly, the test version of a cure the Kaushik had made to protect any humans they might want to keep as test subjects. As she finished taking the samples, the lab doors slid open. Ju stood there alone. "The security teams are coming to this section," the alien said urgently. "You must reach the escape pods on level 4. "Come with me," Nari urged. "Help me warn Earth." Juwoo's neck markings pulsed sadly. "I cannot. My place is here, trying to change minds from within. But I can help you escape." Together, they hurried through service hallways that Juwoo could access with high-level clearance. They had almost reached the escape pod bay when they met Taijo. "I knew you would betray us, Juwoo," the lead researcher said coldly, blocking their path. "Your sympathy for these creatures has always been your weakness. Their intelligence and adaptability should be respected, not just used," Juwoo replied. "There are better solutions than killing them all." Taijo raised what looked like a weapon. "Step aside. The subject must be killed before the changes go further." Nari felt something building inside her, energy focusing through her changed nervous system. Without fully understanding what she was doing, she pushed this energy outward. The metal wall panels around Taijo bent and twisted, wrapping around the alien's arms and legs and holding him still. "How?" Taijo gasped, fighting against the metal. "You made me more than human," Nari said. "That was your mistake." They left Taijo restrained and raced to the escape pods. Juwoo quickly programmed coordinates for Earth. "The pod has communication capabilities," Juwoo explained hurriedly. "Once in range of your planet, transmit the research data. Your scientists must begin producing the antidote immediately." As security teams breached the outer doors of the bay, Nari stepped into the pod. "Thank you," she said to Juwoo. "Survive," the alien replied simply. "Prove that our species can find a better way." The escape pod launched, hurtling Nari toward Earth, and a race against time. They left Taijo trapped and ran to the escape pods. Juwoo quickly set the coordinates for Earth. "The pod has communication devices," Juwoo explained quickly. "When you get close to your planet, send the research data. Your scientists must start making the cure right away." As security teams broke through the outer doors of the bay, Nari stepped into the pod. "Thank you," she said to Juwoo. "Stay alive," the alien replied simply. "Show that our kinds can find a better way." The escape pod shot away from the ship, heading toward Earth. Nari held tight as the small vessel shook violently. Her enhanced senses felt every bump and turn as the pod's systems worked to keep it stable. As the pod broke through the clouds, Nari saw the blue Pacific Ocean below. The landing spot Juwoo had programmed would bring her down near the California coast, close to one of Earth's biggest research centers. When the pod hit the water, the impact was hard despite the cushioning systems. Seawater hissed against the hot outside of the vessel as it bobbed in the waves. Nari gathered the biological samples and data device, put them in a waterproof container, and got ready to be rescued. The pod's emergency signal was already sending out standard rescue frequencies. Within 20 minutes, she heard helicopters coming. When the rescue team cut through the pod's door, they found a woman they didn't recognize, with strange blue-tinged marks along her arms and neck. "My name is Dr. Nari Kim," she told the surprised rescue workers. "I was taken from the Mars research station 47 days ago. Earth is in great danger." The next 12 hours passed in a blur of questions, medical tests, and meetings with higher and higher government officials. Nari's story, backed by her obvious physical changes, the alien technology of the escape pod, and the biological samples she'd brought, created a global security crisis. The sickness is designed to become active 3 days after release, Neri explained to the scientists and military people at the secure facility where she'd been taken. It targets specific parts in human DNA, causing cells to break down quickly. And you believe this alien ship will reach Earth orbit within the next day? Asked General Minsu, the highest-ranking military officer present. Yes, the Kaushik vessel has technology far beyond ours. They can spread the sickness globally within hours. Neri pointed to the data shown on the screen. But we have one advantage they don't know about. I've brought samples of their test cure. Dr. Bake, the lead virus expert, looked up from his microscope. This is unlike anything we've ever seen. The molecular structure it's almost alive. Intelligent. The Kaushik are masters of biological engineering, Neri explained. They've been studying human biology through test subjects for years. Test subjects? A government official asked. 26 humans before me, Neri said grimly. None survived their experiments. The room fell silent as everyone realized what this meant. What makes you different? Dr. Bake asked. How did you escape when others couldn't? Neri hesitated, then showed her abilities by mentally lifting a pen from the table without touching it. They changed me, enhanced my nervous system, altered my brain chemistry. They didn't realize they were giving me the tools to escape. While the scientists worked frantically to understand and reproduce the cure, military forces worldwide were put on high alert. Space monitoring systems were reset based on Neri's description of the Kaushik vessel. 18 hours after Neri's return, orbital satellites detected the alien ship entering Earth's orbit. They're here, General Minsu announced grimly. And we have no way to stop them with our weapons. You don't need to, Neri said, standing up. I can connect with their systems from here. How? The general demanded. The same changes that let me escape, Neri explained. I need access to your most powerful communications array. With the fate of humanity hanging in the balance, they granted her request. They left Tejo trapped and ran to the escape pods. Ju quickly set the coordinates for Earth. The pod has communication devices, Ju explained quickly. When you get close to your planet, send the research data. Your scientists must start making the cure right away. As security teams broke through the outer doors of the bay, Neri stepped into the pod. Thank you, she said to Ju. Stay alive, the alien replied simply. Show that our kinds can find a better way. The escape pod shot away from the ship, heading toward Earth. Neri held tight as the small vessel shook violently. Her enhanced senses felt every bump and turn as the pod's systems worked to keep it stable. As the pod broke through the clouds, Neri saw the blue Pacific Ocean below. The landing spot Ju had programmed would bring her down near the California coast, close to one of Earth's biggest research centers. When the pod hit the water, the impact was hard despite the cushioning systems. Seawater hissed against the hot outside of the vessel as it bobbed in the waves. Neri gathered the biological samples and data device, put them in a waterproof container, and got ready to be rescued. The pod's emergency signal was already sending out standard rescue frequencies. Within 20 minutes, she heard helicopters coming. When the rescue team cut through the pod's door, they found a woman they didn't recognize, with strange blue-tinged marks along her arms and neck. My name is Dr. Neri Kim, she told the surprised rescue workers. I was taken from the Mars research station 47 days ago. Earth is in great danger. The next 12 hours passed in a blur of questions, medical tests, and meetings with higher and higher government officials. Neri's story, backed by her obvious physical changes, the alien technology of the escape pod, and the biological samples she'd brought, created a global security crisis. The sickness is designed to become active 3 days after release, Neri explained to the scientists and military people at the secure facility where she'd been taken. It targets specific parts in human DNA, causing cells to break down quickly. And you believe this alien ship will reach Earth orbit within the next day? asked General Minsu, the highest-ranking military officer present. Yes, the Kashik vessel has technology far beyond ours. They can spread the sickness globally within hours. Nari pointed to the data shown on the screen. But we have one advantage they don't know about. I've brought samples of their test cure. Dr. Bake, the lead virus expert, looked up from his microscope. This is unlike anything we've ever seen. The molecular structure it's almost alive, intelligent. The Kashik are masters of biological engineering, Nari explained. They've been studying human biology through test subjects for years. Test subjects? A government official asked. 26 humans before me, Nari said grimly. None survived their experiments. The room fell silent as everyone realized what this meant. What makes you different? Dr. Bake asked. How did you escape when others couldn't? Nari hesitated, then showed her abilities by mentally lifting a pen from the table without touching it. They changed me, enhanced my nervous system, altered my brain chemistry. They didn't realize they were giving me the tools to escape. While the scientists worked frantically to understand and reproduce the cure, military forces worldwide were put on high alert. Space monitoring systems were reset based on Nari's description of the Kashik vessel. 18 hours after Nari's return, orbital satellites detected the alien ship entering Earth's orbit. They're here, General Minsu announced grimly. And we have no way to stop them with our weapons. You don't need to, Nari said, standing up. I can connect with their systems from here. How? The general demanded. The same changes that let me escape, Nari explained. I need access to your most powerful communications array. With the fate of humanity hanging in the balance, they granted her request. The military command center fell silent as Nari sat still before the communications array. To people watching, she looked like she was in a deep sleep, but her mind was already aboard the Kashik vessel, moving through its computer systems like a ghost. The ship's defenses were strong, but her deep knowledge of their technology, gained during her time as their prisoner, showed her paths others would never find. More importantly, her body now partly matched the Kashik's engineered systems, allowing her to slip past security programs designed to detect human intrusion. Quietly, she moved toward the environmental control systems. If she could access those, she might be able to stop the Kashik before they released the sickness. But as she approached the critical systems, she met an unexpected problem. Tejo was directly connected to the main computer, his mind present in the network. Subject 27. His mental voice echoed through the system. You continue to exceed expectations. No previous subject achieved this level of integration. I'm not your subject anymore, Nari projected back. And I won't let you destroy my world. Your world. Tejo's presence expanded, trying to find and trap her within the system. You are something new now, neither fully human nor Kashik. Our work has made you better. Nari avoided his hunting programs, using techniques she'd learned from watching their technology. You didn't make me better. You just gave me the tools to stop you. Back in the command center, Dr. Bake approached General Minsu. Sir, we've managed to make a small amount of the cure, but mass production will take days we don't have. Can it be used as a weapon? The general asked grimly. Delivered as a counteragent if they release the sickness. In theory, but we'd need a delivery system capable of global spread. We don't have that technology. Inside the Kashik systems, Nari caught bits of this conversation through her physical body's ears. An idea formed, dangerous, possibly suicidal, but potentially effective. She needed to take control of the Kashik's own delivery system and reprogram it to deliver the cure instead of the sickness. But to do that, she'd need to go deeper into the ship's systems than she'd dared go before. As Tejo's presence continued searching for her, Nari made a bold move. Instead of hiding, she created multiple digital copies of her consciousness, each one an echo of herself moving through different parts of the system at the same time. The technique, something she'd seen the Kashik using for complex system management, divided Tejo's attention. Impossible. His presence fluctuated with what might have been the Koshik equivalent of shock. This level of integration requires years of adaptation. While he focused on her copies, Nari's main consciousness slipped into the biological delivery systems. There, she found the deployment mechanisms, atmospheric injection devices designed to release the sickness into Earth's jet streams for maximum coverage. Working quickly, she began altering the chemical sequencing parameters. The sickness and cure were molecularly similar, both designed to interact with specific human DNA markers. With careful adjustments, she could repurpose the delivery system. A sudden pain shot through her consciousness as Taejo found one of her copies and destroyed it. The shock echoed through all her remaining projections. "You cannot stop this." Taejo's presence surrounded her now. "Even if you disrupt the primary deployment, we have backup systems. My research will not be wasted." Fighting through the pain, Nari completed the reconfiguration. But Taejo was right. She couldn't be sure she'd found all the deployment systems. She needed a more permanent solution. In a desperate gamble, she extended her consciousness toward the ship's propulsion controls. If she couldn't neutralize all the sickness, perhaps she could remove the threat entirely. "What are you doing?" Taejo's presence became agitated as he sensed her intention. "Something you never considered," Nari replied. "Sacrifice." With a tremendous mental effort, she overrode the safety protocols on the ship's propulsion system, setting it to accelerate away from Earth at maximum speed. The sudden thrust would strain the ship's structural integrity, possibly destroying it, but would carry the threat far from Earth. As alarms blared through the Koshik vessel, Nari felt her connection to the ship starting to fade. She was reaching the limits of her abilities. Before breaking the connection completely, she located the communication system and broadcast a simple message to all Koshik. "There is another way. Cooperation, not conquest." Remember Jiwoo's words. With her remaining strength, she pulled her consciousness back to her physical body, collapsing forward onto the communications array as the connection broke. "She's waking up," a voice said as Nari slowly opened her eyes. The white ceiling and clean smell reminded her too much of the Koshik laboratory, sending a wave of fear through her until Dr. Beck's familiar face came into view. "You've been unconscious for 37 hours, he explained. "Your brain activity was higher than anything we've ever recorded in a human." Nari tried to sit up, wincing at her bad headache. "The ship, what happened to the Koshik vessel?" General Minsu stepped forward. "Our satellites tracked it accelerating out of Earth orbit at incredible speed. It appeared to be having some kind of internal crisis. Shortly after passing Mars orbit, we detected a massive energy surge. The ship disappeared from our sensors." "Disappeared?" Nari asked. "We believe it activated some kind of faster-than-light propulsion system," a NASA scientist explained from across the room. "Based on the direction, it's headed out of the solar system." Relief flooded through Nari, but it didn't last long. "There will be others," she warned. "The Koshik are desperate. Their world is dying." "Which brings us to our current situation," General Minsu said, his face serious. "Your abilities, the changes they made to you." Nari understood immediately. "You're afraid of me. You can connect with technology using only your mind. You showed telekinetic abilities during your debriefing," the general stated flatly. "Some of my colleagues believe you pose a security risk." Dr. Bake stepped in. "What the general means is that we'd like your help with our research team. Your modified biology could revolutionize our understanding of neural interfaces, possibly advance our technology by decades." Nari looked down at her arms, where the blue-tinged markings had spread further. The tiny machines within her were still working, still changing her. "You want me to be your lab rat now?" An uncomfortable silence fell over the room. "Not a lab rat," Dr. Bake said finally. "A research partner. Your experience and knowledge of Koshik technology is invaluable, especially if they return." "And if I refuse?" Nari asked, already knowing the answer. General Minsu's expression hardened. "That would be unfortunate, Before the conversation could continue, alarms began blaring throughout the facility. A young officer burst into the room. "Sir, we're detecting multiple objects entering Earth's atmosphere. Configuration unknown, but they're slowing to controlled descent." Neri felt a strange sensation, a familiar presence at the edge of her consciousness. "It's not the Koshik," she said with certainty. "At least, not Tejo's faction." "How could you possibly know that?" the general demanded. Instead of answering, Neri closed her eyes and extended her enhanced senses outward. The presences approaching were familiar yet different from what she'd experienced on the research vessel. "It's Juwu," she said, opening her eyes, and others who shared Juwu's beliefs about cooperation. Skepticism showed clearly on the general's face, but before he could respond, the communications officer reported, "Sir, we're receiving a transmission on all frequencies. It's asking for Dr. Neri Kim by name." All eyes turned to Neri. She met General Minsu's gaze steadily. "You have two choices now. You can treat me as a threat, lock me away, and try to handle first contact with an advanced alien species on your own. Or you can recognize that I'm your best hope for peaceful negotiation." The choice was clear, even to the cautious general. Within the hour, Neri found herself at a hastily established landing zone, watching as 3 small Koshik vessels descended through the clouds. The ships were different from the research vessel, smaller, with distinct markings that pulsed with blue light. As the central vessel touched down, its outer hull shimmered and became transparent, revealing Juwu inside. The ramp extended, and Juwu emerged, followed by 5 other Koshik. Their neck markings pulsed in patterns Neri now recognized as expressions of hope and caution. "Neri Kim," Juwu spoke in clear, accented English, a gesture of respect toward the humans present. "We come seeking asylum and offering knowledge." "What happened after I escaped?" Neri asked. "Your actions created division among our people," Juwu explained. "When Tejo's ship was forced to flee, those of us who had questioned the invasion plan seized the opportunity. We have brought technology to help Earth prepare for future contact and to assist with your world's environmental challenges." General Minsu stepped forward. "Why should we trust you?" "You shouldn't," Juwu replied simply. "Trust must be earned. But Neri Kim understands both our peoples now. She is the bridge between us. Neither fully human nor Koshik, but something new, something better." Neri felt the weight of responsibility settling on her shoulders. She had been their lab rat. Now she was humanity's last hope for peaceful first contact. And perhaps in the changes forced upon her lay the seed of a new understanding between species. 1 year later, a place called Bridgepoint stood on what had once been an empty island in the North Pacific. Its buildings were a mix of human and Koshik design, curved clear structures that caught the sunlight during the day and glowed with soft blue light at night. Neri stood on the observation deck, watching researchers of both species working side by side. The asylum-seeking Koshik, 23 in total, had brought medical technology that had already helped cure several human diseases that couldn't be treated before. In exchange, humans were helping design sustainable habitat systems that might save the dying Koshik homeworld. "The neural interface prototypes are ready for testing," said Minji, Neri's human assistant. Despite initial fear, Minji had been one of the first to volunteer to work directly with the Koshik. "And the changes to the early warning system?" Neri asked, touching the blue markings on her neck that now formed complex patterns. "Juwu's team finished them yesterday. We should be able to detect any approaching vessels at 10 times our previous range." They both knew what remained unsaid: the threat of Tejo's return. The hardline faction of the Koshik had gone silent, but Neri doubted they had given up their plans. They were regrouping, perhaps developing new biological weapons that would get past the defenses Earth had now set up. As if sensing her thoughts, Juwu joined them on the observation deck. The aliens' neck markings pulsed in what Neri had come to recognize as a grading pattern. "The Council has approved the exchange program," Juwu announced. 10 human scientists will visit our colony on Titan next month. This was a breakthrough. The first humans would travel to the Kaushik outpost in our solar system. Trust was building, slowly but steadily. There's something else, Ju continued, 4 eyes blinking in sequence. Our long-range sensors detected a signal from the direction Tejo's ship fled. It appears to be a communication attempt. Neri felt a chill. What kind of communication? Unclear, but it was directed specifically at frequencies only you would detect. Over the past year, Neri's abilities had continued to develop. The tiny machines within her had fully integrated with her nervous system, giving her unprecedented control over her enhanced capabilities. She could now interface with technology from great distances and had developed a form of telepathic communication with the asylum-seeking Kaushik. "I need access to the deep space array," she said, already moving toward the communication center. Inside the secure facility, Neri sat before an array similar to the one she'd used during a crisis a year earlier. But this time, she was not fighting against alien technology. She was part of a unified system designed to amplify her abilities. Extending her consciousness outward, she searched the vast emptiness between stars for the signal Ju had detected. It took nearly an hour before she found it, a faint, pulsing pattern at the very edge of her range. The message, when she finally deciphered it, was simple. Evolution continues. Prepare. Attached to the message was a complex data packet. As Neri examined it, she realized with horror that it contained the specifications for a new disease, one designed to target the unique biology she now possessed. Tejo had created a weapon specifically to eliminate the bridge between humans and Kaushik. When she shared this discovery with the Joint Human-Kaushik Security Council, she could see the fear in their eyes. "He sees you as the greatest threat," Ju explained. "You are living proof that our species can cooperate, can even merge in beneficial ways." Neri looked out at the sprawling facility where humans and aliens now work together. "Then we'll just have to prove him right," she said, "by becoming stronger together than either of us could be alone." She had been their lab rat. Now she was humanity's best hope, and she would not fail.